Let's bring in our guest. Joining me now, Project 21 member Whitley Yates, always with the fabulous nails. Also with us, senior research analyst at the Media Research Center, Bill D'Agostino. I'm sure you got nice nails too, Bill. But Whitley, show us your nails. You always have see, and I don't do my nails either. I ruin my manicures all the time. Bill's like, why are we talking about this? All right.
They're not looking good.
All right, let's kick things off with some of last night's White House Correspondents' Dinner, where Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update co-anchor roasted President Biden, hosted by President Biden. Let's just say they were both in rare form. Let's take a look.
Some of you complain that I don't take enough of your questions. No comment. The New York Times issued a statement blasting me for, quote, active and effectively avoiding independent journalists. Hey, if that's what it takes to get the New York Times to say I'm active and effective, I'm for it. I do interviews with strong, independent journalists who millions of people actually listen to, like Howard Stern.
I hope that tonight will be a night to remember for most of us. I have to admit, it's not easy following President Biden. I mean, it's not always easy following what he's saying.
Did you notice that last part there, Whitley? You could tell Joe Biden didn't even get the joke because he was like, you could tell he didn't get it. And then he was like ripping on Trump. He said, "Oh yeah, they talk about our age, and I'm going up against a 6-year-old." It's like, no, stop. What do you think about? What did you think about his jokes, Biden's jokes there?
I mean, I think Biden's jokes were just like Biden, a failure. He can't make anything funny. He probably forgot where he was mid-sentence. And the fact that the press is aware that he has this cognitive issue, that he doesn't remember where he is, and they're utilizing that as material in this dinner is really just a glaring issue of where America stands with him at the helm.
You know, Bill, there was one in particular that caught my ear. Let's take a listen to this one.
In the age of disinformation, credible information that people can trust is more important than ever.
Disinformation, you mean like this one? Let's take a listen to this clip.
And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. And he got shot down in New Guinea. And they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
New Guinea actually came out and said they were offended by this characterization. Bill, what do you think about him talking about disinformation out there? What do you think?
I mean, this is mostly something that he's just been armed with his staff by, right? Because misinformation and disinformation, as we know in this era, basically mean anything that Democrats and the left-wing media don't want you talking about or don't want you being aware of. I did just want to touch on Whitley's point, though. That was actually really cogent, that everybody's going to point out at this like comfy dinner where he's in a safe place, right? Everybody kind of agrees with each other that Biden's in mental decline. But if you take any of the journalists that were at that dinner and you made them deal with some of the evidence of his cognitive decline on television, or when they were in the public eye and not in a safe place that's basically just for them, they would vehemently deny it. Right. So the irony and hypocrisy there is actually that's pretty stark.
Right. They won't cover it. I mean, we played a clip earlier of MSNBC host Mika Brzezinski. She was praising his speech, right, at the front of the union leaders, the infamous one where he said she completely ignored the fact that he had the Ron Burgundy moment with the pause. So it's incredible how much they play cover for him. But next up is our favorite lefty, Joyless Reed. She took a look at all the video of the protests across the college campuses, and let's take a look at her spin on it.
I saw, Mark, these students singing and singing about peace and singing salam, singing words of peace. So it just didn't square with what I was even hearing on television and television commentators saying was shrieking anti-Semitism. I didn't hear it.
No, I was there yesterday, and it was very peaceful and very moving.
Whitley, very peaceful and moving, the protests. Really? They're chanting death to America?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting when the left attempt to add their media spin when we can clearly see what's happening. There is nothing peaceful about chanting death to America. There's nothing peaceful about attacking Jewish students. But here we are with the PR spin from Joyless Reed. And I think it's really interesting to see how they're covering this versus actually how they're covering the truth about this current administration. They're willing to pack lies into the media and propel propaganda in order for people to continue to be misled.
And you know what? I think the media sometimes doesn't even realize just how biased they are. They're kind of in their little liberal bubble. Most professional news folks, they have scripts and teleprompters that they go over. I know I do. I make my crew crazy. I read every single script with a fine-tooth comb. But if you listen to these stories, the bias is practically right off the bat. Let's take a listen.
From coast to coast, campus to campus, protests are growing louder in solidarity. Protesters are now digging in, from Berkeley to the University of Michigan to Minneapolis, where police today took down tents and made arrests. Colleges struggling under a new wave of solidarity protests, inspired by the movement at Columbia University.
What do you think about that, Bill? Maybe they don't even realize it. I mean, and also, you know what, one little thing, it's like, so they're saying from coast to coast, from campus to campus. Maybe they really meant from the river to the sea. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that kind of stuck out to me too. But no, it's an interesting question, right? Like, where does Joy Reid get her news from? Because if she's getting it from all of the other Joy Reids of the world, right, who are pushing the same garbage that she is, then yeah, maybe all that she saw was clips of some random students singing and holding hands and saying peace, because she's not anywhere near anything that's going to show her clips of students yelling anti-Semitic slurs, or that one protest organizer that was saying, what was it, you're lucky that I'm not killing Zionists or something like that. The thing is, with all of this spin, people need to understand that the media aren't just trying to throw a bone to their side and be friendly to a cause that they support. They're also actively and intentionally, I think, trying to foment as much of this as possible, right? Because up until recently anyway, if you went out in public and started yelling a bunch of anti-Semitic slurs and threatening people with violence, there was kind of a reputational cost to that, right? The media would pick it up, and there was a threat of, well, okay, even if you hold these vile beliefs, maybe don't say them out loud because something bad will happen. The media have now sent the message to all of these protesters, no, if you do that, that's fine. We will not cover it. We'll ignore it, and we'll just show clips of these mean cops taking down your tents.
Right.
And so they're trying to create more of these protests by doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to leave it right there. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We could do the whole show with this media madness. All right. Thank you guys.